Hello everyone, my name is Putty and welcome back for another edition of the Nope, I'm looking at the overlay. I almost fucked it up. The Dunes of Utapau. You may notice that the overlay right now is wrong. It says the Mandalorian Wars. Oh, that's also not the... I just opened general chat. They can now see Putty Gash's first class of trainee druids. I'm going to move back to Star Wars. Alright, this is a wonderful opening. So this is an impromptu solo session with Charles playing Cedric. How are you doing today, Charles?
I'm doing very good, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I decided to ask a few of the people that aren't Marshall, actually all of the people that aren't Marshall, because we did a solo session with Marshall already, if they were interested in doing a solo session before we return to full-time filming, either this weekend, which will be Saturday the third, or next weekend, which is going to be Saturday the 10th. We're not sure which of the two we're going to do yet. We're hoping for the third, but if you guys haven't been watching the series for a long time, if you haven't been paying attention too much, or if we haven't been letting the backstage shit flow into the series, you might not know the two of our players, and I'm not going to name which or which, but if you think about who hasn't done a solo session, you might be able to figure out are the most reliable people in the world. So, and a month off is never good for reliability, so we don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. And if we don't get the players that we usually do on Saturday, then I'm going to make plans to continue the series without them. And that might involve getting new people in, or that might involve trimming down the story content. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but we're returning to full-time filming very shortly. And to wrap up the little story that we were doing before the break, I wanted to do a solo session with a few of the people who weren't Marshall, because Marshall had his own conclusion to the story, and so I asked a few people, and we're here with Charles. Hi, Charles.
Yeah! Hi!
And this is really impromptu, and I forgot up until the last minute that I needed to film Discord in order to make this really work, because it could work without Discord. Like, I've seen people do, like, RPG series where they just have podcast versions, and people seem to like those, but Star Wars is really dicey, and I think it's important to see the so I made sure to record Discord, but that doesn't mean you're going to get a really scuffed overlay. Hey, the only player today is at least on the overlay. It has so it's not all botched. Anyway, is there anything you would like to update the audience on, Cedric, before we get started today?
I don't think so. Other than I've got a new mic, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna clear Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh no, the dice roller's not here. Oh no!
God.
Oh no!
Oh god!
Oh no!
Okay, so there are alternative solutions. I'm gonna send you a link to an Edge of the Empire dice roller, and you're gonna screen share with me. And we're gonna do this shit by
this could be interesting.
Right, there you go. Do we have anything personal in our private conversation, or can I just switch straight there?
We got shtick about the TOA game, but
actually, I just realized it's gonna be really difficult because I want the music bot in here.
Yeah, you want the music bot, yeah. So
you could send. Okay, it's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna rely on you for this one. Could you make the rolls and put screenshots in this chat, in the Star Wars chat?
Yeah, I can do that. Well, the other method is that I screen share via Skype.
That's
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can.
Let's do the Skype thing. I think that
So we Skype call, but still in Discord, mute ourselves in Skype, so you've just got the screen share. Yeah. I think that'll work. Okay, let's set this up so I've got... Okay, I've got that there.
Okay, I muted my microphone, I think.
Okay, I should have muted mine.
You sound a little different now on Discord,
no.
but it's not that bad. What a wonderfully prepared RPG session we've had for you today.
Oh, yeah.
You're a lot quieter on Discord. Don't think. Let's just do the screenshot thing.
Okay, we'll do the screenshot thing.
Oh, actually, I think it was actually on my end, now that I think about it. I think Skype actually quietens you down. Yeah, 1 second. I just remembered, because when I dropped the call, I was like, oh wait, doesn't Skype do a thing? It does, yeah. Right, talk a second.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
You do still sound different, but you don't sound quiet, which is fine.
Okay, that... Yep. I need... Screen share.
There we go. It's all scuffed to hell, but hey. Wait, let me see if I can enlarge this. Roll your destiny, whatever your dice are. Actually, no, you just roll 1 dice, don't you, for destiny? Yeah. Also, I haven't gemmed this system since the end of last year, so it's going to be a bit scuffed.
Scuffy. So that's 1 force point.
All right, that, my friend, is the destiny pool today. Actually, are you a paragon still?
Yes, I am a paragon.
Okay, so we've got 2 light side points.
Well, there's the characters. There. Cedric's back.
Right. Okay, so let's get started. We have 2 destiny die to start off. I'm not doing any of this supplementary shit. We're going to try and rely on the dice as little as possible. Okay. So, after the last session where you fought off a number of the corrupted Godels, you saw Kasari getting dragged down into the vines, and immediately following that, the session ended. So, in the aftermath of the fight, you're drained, you're wary, you're holding Merkava up, like shoulder to shoulder, trying to make sure he's okay, because he was really badly damaged in the last fight. And you notice him breathing heavily for a little bit, and then slowly but surely Merkava falls unconscious. Meanwhile, of course, Kasari is dragged down into the vines, and you realize you are on stable ground, and the enemies surrounding you are gone. The forest falls a deadly silence, and the small beams of sunlight that were coming through the top of the trees are beginning to dim. It appears to be getting later in the day.
This does not seem to be good at all whatsoever. So, looking around, there's basically islands of solid ground and then vines.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
Okay. So...
Although, what I will say is that your visibility is rapidly decreasing.
So, I'm gonna quickly attempt to sort of use my electro binoculars, which can see in low levels of light, to see if there's any to recalibrate my direction of where the hell I'm supposed to be going.
Okay. Most of what you see around you is just brush and trees and plant life, and it is a thick jungle, as we talked about last time. It's very difficult to see anything really in any directions. However, you do notice you can see blood on the trees, indicating your battle, which tells you that tells you which direction that you think the Godels came from, since that was the direction you were kind of fighting them in. Similarly, that's where the bodies are, and you can see the bodies, and that direction kind of comes goes in one way. You could definitely go the direction that you think they came from. Also, you can make out kind of indents and similar looking rock formations in another direction that you think probably tells you where you came from.
Okay, so I am going to. I'm gonna jump back with Merkava to try and get to where we came out.
With force sleep?
With force sleep.
Okay. I think that's a force power check, right?
Yep. Okay.
How far can you jump with just one light side point?
Just one light side point. I can jump one range bound.
There is you surmise a stable body of land within range.
Okay, so I'm going to try and jump with Merkava to it, trying to get him sort of out of the jungle.
Okay, why don't you make a like an average athletics check to see if you can hold on to Merkava through that jump? Because I think Merkava's quite a heavy motherfucker.
And then average.
Ooh.
Trying. Yeah. So that's a success.
Okay, so you jump triumphantly through the air, holding deeply onto your friend, and you can cradle him in your arms, and you manage to land solidly without any damage to you or Merkava on the other end. So much so, in fact, that you managed to get a little further than you thought, and you think you can make out a small pathway beneath your feet that could probably lead you all the way out of the forest if you wanted it to.
Okay, so I'm going to get him out of the forest through that pathway and sort of leave him at the edge of the forest.
Where exactly do you put him?
So when I come out, there's that walled city, isn't there?
There is kind of a fence. It's not right next to a civilization. It's kind of out and away from them. But there is a guarded fence, a little ways walk, maybe 10 minutes walk from the edge of the forest.
Okay, I am going to start walking towards the fence, see if I can spot any guards patrolling up and down to get Merkava safe.
You get to the fence and it seems quite quiet actually. You don't notice anyone there, but you have successfully reached the fence without any particular action. At this point, by the way, it's the dead of night. It's probably around 10, 11 p.m.
Okay. Again, using my electro binoculars, I am going to attempt to find the little hole in the fence where we scrambled through last time.
Make a hard perception check with boost.
What's my perception? Okay. Hard with a boost. 1 success.
Okay, so you take out your electro binoculars and you kind of know where you're looking. So you move across the wall looking for the spot you think it is, and you notice like an irregular patch in the fence where you're pretty sure the hole used to be. But if you remember right, you told the Godels about it, and you're pretty certain it's been patched up.
Oh, great! Thanks, Godels, for being efficient. So I am going to lean him. So in this sort of clearing between the wall and the jungle, is there any like divot holes or anywhere that seems suitable for me to hide Merkava?
I don't know about true hidden, but it's a very uneven land. There are definitely dips and rises. There are kind of alcoves that you could definitely leave him in or under, and you could. There are definitely like places to put things, but it is still an open plain. There's not much foliage. There's not much in terms of stuff to like. It depends on what you're up to, but like in terms of. It's generally easy to search, but there are definitely lower points that you could store him in, I suppose.
Okay. I am going to try and lump him into one of these storage points. Try and lump him in so he's as hidden as I can in the middle of a plain. Especially from the forest. So he might be more visible from the wall, but from the forest he's pretty hidden.
Okay, that's my aim. You find a small upcropping that points like that's rising up in the direction of the forest. So it looks flat from the forest end, and you can see it quite clearly from the wall end. And you cover up Merkava maybe with some grass and some plants, and he's in the daytime nobody's gonna miss him, but at night maybe someone will.
Yeah. I pat him on the head and say, "Stay there, Merkava. Don't do anything stupid before walking back into the forest."
Okay. Before you go, in Merkava's unconscious state, you can feel that he isn't trying to. He isn't trying to control anything. He hasn't got any control like he usually would over his mind and his senses, and for the first time in quite a while, you feel a darker energy coming from Merkava than you have in the past.
I look over at him, and with a concerned face on my head, and see if I can see if there's like any items on him that seems to be emanating this presence.
Why don't you roll a knowledge lore check with your force rating as well, and you can convert light side points into success.
No. What's the difficulty?
Make it formidable. Well, whatever 4 is. So daunting, I think, actually.
Daunting. Oh no.
Well, you can convert those into success.
Yeah, I can convert all that light side into success.
Okay, so you stare deeply into the void that is Merkava Kavar, and you try to isolate the location of this dark side presence, and you get 3 separate radiances from him. So first of all, you feel a dark side presence coming from his red lightsaber. Second of all, you feel a dark presence coming from the gauntlet he wears on his right hand. And third of all, you feel a dark side presence deep within his stomach. And also, you gain 4 conflict for looking so deep into this black hole.
Ooh, fun. So I'm gonna warily leave him still, because I've still got to find a Padawan who got captured by some vines. Practically ran off. Recklessly jumped into vines, I think would be the way to say.
No, she ran into the enemy and there just so happened to be vines there.
That might be true, but I'm still gonna go find her.
Okay, so you're heading back into the forest the same way you came? Okay.
Same way I came.
It's probably well past midnight right now and you're starting to get very tired.
Okay.
But you you begin the walk into the forest though, with no activity.
Yeah. So once I'm starting to get pretty tired, I'm going to try and find a tree which I can climb up into and lay down to try and have a little bit of a kip.
Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty easy. I think you can easily find a tree, and with your level of athletic prowess, I don't think it's any difficulty at all to climb up into it. You find probably the least conspicuous looking tree you can find. It's got 2 big branches towards the top, and you pick one of them and you crawl to sleep. How long were you planning to sleep for?
Probably a good like 6 hours. So,
Okay, that's cool. So you sleep very well. You can recover all of your strain, and you can. Do you have any wounds?
yes, I do have some wounds.
I'd say recover one wound. Recover one wound and all your strain.
Okay.
And it's probably been like 3 or 4 hours. It's really rough sleep because it's the middle of a fucking tree. So you're not exactly sleeping soundly. However, you become aware, maybe 3 or 4 hours in, that on the other branch there is a presence.
I try and subtly look over and see what it is.
I'm going to say make an easy perception check to see if your eyes can adjust to this not quite sunrise lighting. Okay, so you make out clearly, because the person, as you figure out it to be, isn't trying to conceal themselves in any way. You make out very clearly that crouching on the other branch, just looking directly at you, is this human-looking figure in white and black robes, and he looks like he looks kind of teenage, and he's this pale, white, male, like I said, human-looking individual.
Hello?
He doesn't respond.
I sort of make a little wave.
He seems to snap out of a trance as if not realizing, only just realizing you were there, and says, "Oh, I was wondering when you were to wake up."
It's been a long day.
You Jedi are so curious. Why would you wander into a forest like this?
Maybe it's because it's a forest like this is why we wander in.
Perhaps. This corruption is too strong for the likes of you.
I've seen a lot of corruption.
I'll bet you have. So is that it? Did you want to purge it?
How do you know? Of course. That's the Jedi way.
Oh. Interesting. And what if I were to tell you that this forest was a living being?
Then, maybe rather than purge it, teach it to be better than what it is.
Hundreds of years of teachings has led it down a different path. You think you will teach it differently?
Maybe, if it listens.
Curiouser and curiouser. Well, I'll be on my way. And he points to his belt and says, "I'll be taking this." And you notice Merkava's red lightsaber across his belt and he says, "If Merkava wants his lightsabers back, tell him to seek me out on Dagobah. Zinzalin's the name." And he jumps off the tree.
I'm just going to have a shocked expression on my face and said, "Hold up, wait a second. You just can't take somebody's lightsaber away from them."
He has already jumped off the tree. May have heard you, but you don't get a response.
I'm going to attempt to follow him very cautiously, without him noticing. Hopefully.
Okay, make a stealth check against 4 challenge dice.
This is not going to go well. Yep, that didn't.
Now make a perception check against 3 challenge dice.
Triumph.
So your attempt to follow him doesn't go too horribly. You're trying to kind of jump from platform to platform, trying to take the easy path so you don't have to rustle through the leaves and stuff, and you're able to track him for a little bit, and you kind of see in the horizon, you see kind of a row of tents. A set of maybe 8 tents, all gathered around a glowing light. But as you notice that you're close to probably a Godel civilization, you completely lose track of Zinzalin.
I sort of look at the tents and I go, well, if Kasari's anywhere, because I can't follow that guy now, I need to find Kasari. And if she's going anywhere, and if I know her as well as I think I do from the last few days, I've got to go there. So I'm going to try and stealthily approach the tents, trying to keep out of sight.
Okay, roll a hard stealth check. Your stealth is terrible. What are you doing?
My agility is terrible.
Yeah, but you're not even skilled in like your stealth. I like to think so. Cedric, what he does is he's like, if I go fast enough, I can totally sneak by. So he's doing that Deus Ex thing where he's hiding behind the first tent, and he tries to sprint to the second tent, and like 4 Godels turn and look at you, and like you're currently having a stare off. You are looking at 4 Godels who are looking at you, and they don't know what to do. That is currently the situation.
Have you seen a little girl? Human.
Their eyes like start to widen as they realize that like you're you, and they start to like kind of back away a little bit, and very cautiously looking at you.
Oh, come on, I'm not that bad, guys. But I will have to be if you don't tell me where she is. I can see that look in your face. I know you're here. You know where she is. Where is she?
Okay,
and I hold out my hand to sort of like to indicate like a small person.
Their concern turns to confusion, and two of them just run like. Actually, they're not really running, they're just kind of walking off at this point. And the other 2 are still looking at you very confused and slightly concerned.
I look around and then start walking towards them.
They increase the speed of their retreat as you start to walk towards them, clearly wanting no part of you.
I then start peering in the tents, trying to find Kasari.
Okay, so before you can reach a tent, in your encroachment on these 2 Godel, you're focused on them so much that you don't really pay attention to anything else. And as you regain your bearings and you're like, I'll go peer in a tent, you now realize that behind you in kind of a circular formation are another 4 Godel, and these Godel are armed.
Guys, you really don't have to get the spears out. like I'm here for a little girl, and I point like a girl, a person, sort of small person, like
the 2 Godel like look at you very sympathetically, actually, like they're trying to understand you.
I think for a second, is there like the ground? Is it like got some dirt?
Oh yeah.
That I can like. So I go and I use my foot to draw a stick man, and then I sort of make a sort of grabbing motion towards the stick man and pull to me, and then pointing the way I come.
So at this point, the 6 Godel huddle around your drawing, like making, like talking to each other in their language, and like trying to clearly, like they're making notes. They've got like papers out and stuff, and they're like, They seem to have come to a decision. They raise their spears at you.
I shake my head and go, "You really don't want to do this," and I draw my lightsaber.
They think for a second, and then they like put their spears down a little bit, like.
I do this sort of grabbing motion and point away again, and then point at the lightsaber and try and say to them, "I will kill you if you." I will do some damage if you don't tell me where she is.
One of them like snaps their fingers and puts their finger up, and it's like turns to the other 5 and starts talking like excitedly, and then they all start to nod, and then they point at a big tent.
I hilt my lightsaber, put it away, and start walking towards the tent.
Okay, nobody accosts you, but you can tell as you approach the tent that there are a number of Godel on the outside that are slightly better armed than the Godel that you've seen so far, and this is clearly quite an important person's tent.
I do a little bow in front of them.
In front of the 2 armed Godel out front?
In front of the 2 armed Godel out front.
Okay. They look at you a little confused, and then shrug and let you in.
I then walk in.
Inside, you see like a giant ceremonial fire pit and one large elderly Godel sitting on a chair nearby.
I say, "Hello? Do you speak common?" Back to basic.
And he places his, the large elderly Godel places his hand on a nearby stone, and you hear inside your mind, "What is one such as you doing in my tribe?"
I am looking for a Padawan of mine.
What is this word, Padawan?
My student. I'm a member of the Jedi Order.
I know not of any more of your kind. It's bad enough I have to endure your trespass in my land.
Hey, I'm just looking for her, and then I will be gone. Do you know, like, of any other tribes that might take or capture one of my kind?
My tribes don't deal with your kind. My brothers in the north, my brother in the east. We barely interact with your kind. You are the first of yours that I have interacted with in decades.
What? Why is that?
I don't know if you can tell, but we kind of live in a forest.
Well, yes. I know what a forest is, but...
That's good. I'm glad they teach you that. Are you teaching that to your student?
Yes. She seems to be very attached to this forest and wants to help everybody around and inside the forest. So... But she has gone missing in this forest, and we have a larger mission at stake. So please, if you have any idea where she might be, your help will be invaluable.
You see a smirk appear on his face, and then in your mind, help. I've given up on that a long time ago. And you now notice yourself surrounded by 4 of the more well-armed Godel.
Oh, come on, guys. Seriously. spears and guns are not cool in meetings, and I draw my lightsaber again.
You notice that these 4 Godel, very similar to one of the Godel that you had met on the first day, are wielding blades of kind of rock. Very, very similar to the material that the Zabraki woman's blade was made out of on Corellia.
Hey, where did you get those from? They look really fancy.
Those are sacred blades carved from the heart of this forest. The darkness that we feed upon. That darkness will soon consume you too.
I don't think so.
Okay, and the 4 try to skewer you. So let's roll initiative, and I still don't have a dice roller, so I'm not going to be able to roll in front of you anymore. So I'm going to, got the cheese going on.
Got that cheese.
I can fudge rolls. My God, will I? Probably not.
I always fudge rolls.
I know, you're pretty bad at that.
Okay, 1 success for me.
Jesus Christ.
I have awful initiative.
You don't say. Wait, which initiative did you roll? It does not matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Vigilance, cool, and this are the same for me.
Damn it, I got my notepad out like, oh yeah, I have a pen. And I was like, where the fuck's my pen? It's over there. Okay, keep the crowd busy for like a minute.
So, Star Wars is back in Antar. I'm 1v5ing a load of Godel with really bad spears. This is not gonna go well, I don't think. Although Sarlacc Sweep is very powerful.
I disagree.
So that might help.
No, it's not that powerful. You're over-exaggerating it.
I'm over-exaggerating. But against multiple enemies, it's pretty good. Okay. And considering I'm surrounded by, 4 or 5 guys, then it should be alright.
These guys aren't very good at keeping their cool, so you notice them fidgeting a little bit as they begin to spear you. Okay, I just got 2 more to roll. Wait. Yeah. 1 more, but he has different stats because he's the big guy in the corner.
Big guy. He's the big dog.
He's not a bad Godel. He's not a good Godel. He's a Brumus.
He's a chaotic neutral Godel.
Okay, so and then Charles. So the initiative order looks like this: enemy, 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 friendly, enemy, enemy.
Ah, fun.
Yeah, it's like party time.
Party time. Party time.
Right. So the chieftain, you notice, on the side, starts to motion towards his belt, where he draws a very similar looking blade to the side of you, engages with you. So you're now engaged with the chieftain and at short range from the other 4, and the chieftain is going to attempt to hit you. Do you have any melee defense?
1 point in melee defense.
Oh boy, all that melee defense, man.
All that melee. I'm not quite as good as Merkava, but I've got all that melee defense.
All that melee defense. Melee is a brawn skill, right?
Yes, it's brawn.
Okay.
Everything but the shooting is brawn by default.
Alrighty then. So it is going to deal 10 wounds and ignore 3 soak. So
okay, so that's 5 wounds.
Okay, so he immediately comes in to, he's... The other 4 are clearly trained and warrior-like, but they're very angry, they're very aggressive, and they're very difficult at keeping their cool. So they're kind of fidgeting about.
Actually,
go ahead.
Well, we forgot the fearsome check. He has to make a hard fear check.
Which is discipline, right?
Discipline, yeah.
Is discipline a willpower skill?
Discipline is a willpower skill, yes.
He succeeds, but takes one strain. Okay, so so he comes in and he the four around you are clearly like waiting for their opportunity, very nervous, very aggressive, very angry, and as that happens, they're kind of like you're kind of distracted by them, and you don't quite notice the chieftain come in. You can't quite get yourself stanced correctly before he just skewers you straight through the abdomen, and of course Jackson style, and leaves you in a significant amount of pain. And go ahead.
Yeah. Also remember, if they generate a despair or 3 threat, just tell me.
Okay.
Because
cool.
I have an ability for that.
In that case, we are going to just do the other 2 attacks, and I'll do them one after another. So the other 2 guys engage with you. They'll do their fear checks, which is here. They are boop boop. He succeeds. Two threats. And he fails with a triumph. So what does the fail mean again?
The fail means he... Let me double check. It's normal fear, so combat, probably under combat somewhere.
Isn't it just setback on their checks and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's 1 setback on their any attacks.
Alright, cool. So 1 setback on any attack, and one of them got that, and then they're both just going to attack you with your 1 melee defense.
Okay.
And I have to figure out what they're doing. They're brawn, and then they've got melee 2. Okay, so this I'm just going to do both attacks back to back. So then, and then there's a fail, but with 3 advantage. He's going to just upgrade his defense. So you take, so one of them you dodge out of the way, but you take the other attack and you take 8 damage before soak. Again, it ignores. How much soak does it ignore again? I say this for 2, 3. No, yeah, it ignores 3 soak. How much wounds does it deal? It's 8.
I'm going to parry, so
Okay.
I take no wounds and just 3 strain.
He is going to crit though, with a vicious of 3. So roll go into the roll 20 and roll a d100 plus 30. What did you get?
72, so that is never good.
Let's see. It is a hamstrung, so you lose your free maneuver till the end of the encounter, and you have average difficulty crit. So yeah, so you jump out, literally like one guy tries to sweep under you, and you jump out of the way, but that obviously leaves you open for another attack, which slashes big gash in the back of your lower leg, and you can really feel that in the morning. So you're currently engaged with a chieftain and 2 assassins of sorts, while 2 are at short range from you. That's your turn.
Okay, I am going to attempt to Sarlacc sweep.
Okay, how does that work again?
I need increase the difficulty by 1 of the difficulty, and for every 2 advantage, I can hit another target.
Who are you targeting?
I am targeting initially the chieftain.
Right, in that case, it is going to be a 1 challenge and 2 difficulty, because he has adversary 1.
Okay. No defense.
Let me just make sure, but I don't think so. No defense.
Double check I've got everything down. I get the +1 because I'm engaged with multiple target. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's not good. So I'm gonna hit one other of the Godel, doing a total of 11 damage.
To both the chieftain and the Godel?
To both the chieftain and the Godel.
Okay, 11 damage to each. Oops, my keyboard. Like I said, we're both really, well, mainly me, because Charles has been pretty on the ball today, but I haven't run the system in a while, so it's going to be a little slow today. I'll just note down he took that strain, and then he took 11 damage, and one of the Godels took 11 damage as well. Okay, so you start like sweep, you sweep around, you telegraph it enough because of your hamstrung injury. You're a little slow, so you telegraph it enough that one of the Godels manages to get out of the way, but you slash at the chieftain, enraging him heavily, whereas another one of the Godels takes the brunt of the strike. As you finish the sweep, you drive the lightsaber through the abdomen of one of the Godels, dealing heavy damage to him. He coughs up a cacophony of blood, but still stands staring at you. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay, so as you did that throw, so again, you're hamstrung, you've been slow, you've been, you're definitely off the pace, and your Sarlacc sweep was really, really off balance, and you tried to really stick it into that final Godel. As you did, because of that despair, the lightsaber slips out of your hand and slides across the room to one of the Godels who hasn't acted yet, who puts his foot directly on top of it. You're not sure if it's done any damage to the lightsaber, but this Godel just fucking stomped on it, and it's no longer ignited, that's for sure.
Oh no.
That Godel spends his turn picking your lightsaber up. And then the other Godel engages with you, making a fear check. Which is this hard, no setback. He fails his fear check. So he's got setback when he tries to attack you. Which is what he's going to do, because he's a bad man, Charles. Don't know if you've noticed yet, but these guys are very enraged. They're very angry. They're radiating this dark energy.
That does not seem good.
No, it really doesn't. So he's gonna deal 7 damage to you, ignoring 3 of your soak. How much wounds are you taking?
I'm taking 2 wounds.
Okay, so a glancing blow on your elbow as an upward strike catches you. As you again, you're a pretty experienced fighter at this point. Your lightsaber's gone, but you're able to adopt a pretty defensive stance. And you're blocking with your hands, so he catches you on your elbow. Roll a +40 crit, because he got 3 advantage. He's going to spend 2 of it to crit, and he's got vicious, and you've already got 1 injury.
Oh no!
What did you get?
133.
133.
I'm bleeding out, man.
Wait, did you
bleeding out? Oh no!
133. Holy shit! So yeah, you're bleeding out. You missed out on the gruesome injury. Holy fucking shit. Okay, so yeah, every round the target suffers 1 wound and 1 strain at the beginning of his turn. That's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but he suffers an additional critical injury
for every 1 wound. You suffer past the wound threshold.
Yeah, so every time I get hit,
No, past your wound
No.
threshold.
Past my wound threshold.
Yeah. So you're okay.
Oh, wow.
You're all
Okay.
right, bro. You're still standing. How many? So how much? I'm not, actually, that doesn't really matter how much of your thing, but still, fuck me. Right. So you're in trouble clearly. So as he grazed you, your defensive stance was solid, but he just caught you in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he kind of shaves a bit off of your fleshy elbow. Right? So, like, you've obviously got a mechanical elbow. He catches your fleshy elbow, and you're in so much pain that you don't really want to look right now, but you're not sure if you still have an elbow.
Oh.
If you do, half of it's missing.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's not good.
So it's the end of his round. We're at the top of the initiative order. It's the chieftain's turn again. And he kind of sheathes his weapon and says, "If you get out of my forest right now, I will let you live."
I look at him, then look at the Godel with my lightsaber and say, "As long as I have that blade, I will leave you."
He shakes his head and says, "I don't think you're in any position to be negotiating. I know how dangerous that thing is." He points at the blood coming out of his stomach right now that you just left on him the previous turn, and says, "We'll return this to you in other methods." He stops for a second and considers and thinks, "I have a counteroffer," and points at the blade he's holding.
I look at it and extend my arm to take the offer.
That is the end of combat. You can roll, I think it's discipline or cool in order to recover strain if you would like.
Yeah.
You're still bleeding out. Your arm. If you want, do you take the time to check your elbow?
Yeah, I do.
There is a lot, like, your arm. Now that the adrenaline is starting to wear off, your right arm. Which arm is mechanical?
My right arm's mechanical.
Your left arm goes like almost completely limp. You can still it's still an arm, but there's a large chunk of bone missing from your elbow, and it is profusely. You've recovered 2 strain. It is profusely bleeding right now, profusely. But you're able with the right hand to take the dark blade and put it in your holster or wherever you attached your lightsaber previously. By the way, the stats on that I will post in the Discord. It's not a lightsaber, but it's not bad. And I have to open Skype up again. So you're able to do that. You're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of pain. But the chieftain kind of leads you out into the forest and tries to basically throw you back on the path you came.
I go back.
You leave the forest?
Yes, I'm gonna leave the forest.
Okay. It was a very long, not long, but it was a pretty lengthy confrontation. It's probably around 10 a.m. now. The sun is definitely at full front, and you leave the forest. Your arm's in trouble, dude. You need to do something about it.
Can I look around to see if there's any like moss or anything?
Yeah,
that
definitely.
I can hold the blood, try to hold the blood off with.
Make an easy survival check to see what you come up with.
This ain't good.
Ooh. Okay, so you wrap around what you can find as the least. So you're at the edge of the forest, and you wrap around maybe leaves of something you find. And for a little bit, you think it's not too bad. It's starting to work. It's starting to work. The next leaf you put on stings like a motherfucker. You take 1 strain, and you just take it off. You're like, not that tree. You move to the next tree, and you finally patch up the arm, and it's not bleeding. It's bleeding, but you've stemmed it a little bit.
I am going to go and find Merkava.
You easily do so. You remember where he is. He is now lightsaberless, but the gauntlet is still there. Oh, he still has a lightsaber. He has a green one,
Yeah.
I think, but
Yeah,
the red one's gone, and the
red
yellow
one's
one
Yellow one gone.
was gone yesterday.
I am going to pick up Merkava and try and find another exit to this wall.
Oh, okay. What's your long-term plan here?
To try and get back to the Godal civilization that was sort of beyond the wall that we found.
Okay, you take a little while to go around to the proper entrance of the wall, where the Godals recognize you. They're a little concerned about Merkava and your fucking arm. They're also a little concerned about the blade you're wielding, but nobody asks enough questions that if you don't want to explain yourself, you don't have to, and you're able pretty easily to get back to the tribe that had the herd and the tribe that you defended that one night.
Yeah. I'm gonna head out to there, and sort of I'm gonna go back to the chieftain that was there.
Yes.
So try and go towards his tent at least.
No, you get there with no issues at all,
Yep.
and you can
Cool.
head into his tent.
Yep.
No problem with that.
Hello?
Oh, hi there. Can I help you?
Yeah, have you heard anything about our companion that was with us?
Jackson?
Sorry.
He's still looking after the prisoner, from what I hear.
No, the other one, Kasari.
Oh, Kasari. I'm sorry, I haven't heard anything about her. Is something wrong?
Lost her in the forest. God damn it.
Well, that's not good.
Well, I try to go find her, and this is what happens, and I point out my arm.
Wow, that's a nasty one. They catch you pretty bad, huh? I didn't, as much as we've had problems with them, the skirmishes we've had, they've never been too tough on us. What happened?
Let's just say, dropping a lightsaber in the middle of a Godal camp is not a good idea.
Well, I'll say they turned it against you.
I was trying to find Kasari, and
He puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Hey, now, I'm sure there is nothing you could have done. Yeah, how about I fix you up some tea?"
Sure, thanks.
And there's like a small round cup that he pours a kettle into and hands it to you. There's a number of herbs at the bottom, and it's quite a homebrew tea. It tastes average. You can tell that he's not used to making it.
I sip it politely, and then go. I have a feeling I'm gonna need some rest. And Merkava's been out unconscious for the last.
It's like been about a day.
About a day. So I don't know what's up with him, but
he strokes his chin and says, "Well, if he's in trouble and you're in trouble, your best bet is probably to head over to Sop's tribe. It's east of here. It's the other one in the wall. She didn't like the wall at first, but she's come around to it. She's the best medic we've ever had. If you were looking for medical treatment, the best thing to do is just pass through the Bison Plains and find Sop."
Thank you. I think we'll head out there. How long a journey do you think it is?
Let's see. If you're carrying a guy on your back, it might take a little longer, but you seem like a fine specimen, Mr. Cyborg Man. So I reckon 2 hours should get you there, maybe 3.
Thank you. That's good. I think we'll head out when we can.
He nods and puts his hand on your shoulder again and says, "If there's anything I can do for you, we owe you quite a debt."
If you ever hear of anything that happened to Kasari, just try and find me. I'm sure the Jedi will get in touch if you contact them.
Absolutely. I'll do my best.
Thank you. And I leave with Merkava. I'm going to jog off to the other tribe now. What was it? Sop.
Sop. Very, very crisp sounding sop. 1 second, let me get some different music playing since our last one ran out. The creepy forest music.
Yeah, we're no longer in a creepy forest. We're in a bison plain.
Yeah.
Where we're going to buy some planes.
Boo! So you're strolling through the Antar wilds again, and it's not quite as upbeat and happy as it was yesterday, because obviously Kasari's missing, and Jackson's missing because you just didn't bother to check in on him while you were there in Saruo's tribe. So you don't even, Jackson could be dead. We don't know. Nobody knows. And your arm is bleeding, and generally it's been quite a harrowing experience for you. How are you feeling as you jog through the bison plains?
Really quite sort of overwhelmed because of the loss of Kasari. Cedric's thought that he's lost Kasari for a while.
Cedric hasn't really ever lost battles before, and he just kind of lost 2. Is that weighing on him?
Yeah, that's definitely weighing on him, but
does he keep that stiff British upper lip?
Considering Merkava's unconscious, no. He's just absolutely exhausted and just lets it all out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after a couple of hours of raw traveling, because Cedric don't need breaks, you manage to make it to Sop's tribe. This one is a lot smaller. You get the feeling that it's with the way the tents are set up, that they've been recently moved, and they're set up in a way that it's only 3 or 4 really big tents, and nobody's outside, and one of them is clearly a little bigger than the others.
I'm gonna head towards the slightly bigger one.
As you head in, you see beds and beds and beds. They're on the floor, so they're bed rolls of people, mixture of male and female Godels, all of them military-ish types, all lying down, clearly getting different forms of medical treatment. 3 or 4 elderly Godel move between the beds, assisting in whatever way they can, repackaging bandages, distributing medicine, and stuff like that, whereas one even older Godel, female, stands kind of relaxing a little bit, seemingly after, in the midst of a day of work, but having caught a breath.
Excuse me.
Oh, hello. I've heard word from my brothers. You're the Jedi, right?
Yeah, well, 2/3 of us.
Come. She whisks you out of the tent and into another one that's much more empty. There's only 2 or 3 beds taken up in this one, but there's another row of bedrolls, seemingly in preparation for more casualties coming. And she says, "Here, I can see you're hurt. Why don't you take a lie down? I'll take care of your friend in a second."
I sort of gently lay my Merkava down on one of the rolls and then slump down in the next one over.
She begins working on your elbow. So how did this happen?
It's a bad idea dropping a lightsaber in the middle of a Godel camp in the middle of the forest.
Hey, that's racist, she says, sniggering a little bit.
Hey, a lot of people like lightsabers.
She taps an ointment on your elbow and then packages it up with proper bandages. You can now remove your daunting crit injury. She recovered it, and you can recover 2 wounds.
Okay.
And then she moves down to your leg and says, "What about this one?"
I can't remember now. It might have been them stabbing me with something along like this, and I sort of show the dark blade.
Oh, jeez, she says, taking a hold of it, and then for a second, you and her have a weird cosmic moment where, for a second, you feel like you're connected. It's really weird. It's out of nowhere. As soon as she touches the blade, you two feel much more connected than you felt to any other Godel here. You can feel her emotions, her energy, her goodwill, her caring. And then the next words that come out of her mouth, she doesn't so much say them as you hear them in your mind. And she says, well, his leg's all patched up. But once again, she doesn't really say anything. Also, your other crit injury is gone, and you can heal 5 wounds.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot better now. Anyway, I want to study this blade. Seen them before. Place in outside of Antar.
She looks at the blade and says, it's been a while and I haven't seen one in a long time, but something tells me that that blade is made out of the same material that we used to use to make our communication rocks.
Yeah, well, I sort of heard your voice in my head as you were touching it, so I believe so.
Sorry about that. Like I said, I was too young when we left the forest, and I don't remember how to use any of them.
That's alright. But it does seem to be some very dark side energy radiating off it.
But by the way, when she touched it, it wasn't actually so much dark side energy. You could feel her emotions coming out of it. So you felt a lot of caring and a lot of loving. But yeah, I mean, it generally seems dark side-ish, but when she was touching it, it didn't really radiate that for you. As she moves to Merkava now and starts looking at him.
Okay. I'm gonna hold the blade and try and meditate and see if I can figure out, like what the hell is sort of causing the darkness. It was if something was causing it in the forest or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just make a lore check, knowledge lore check, with your force rating added again.
What's the challenge?
It's gonna be formidable, I'd say.
Okay. This is gonna be. Nope.
I'm not on your Skype. I should be. Right. Okay. Yeah, you can't really tell. Like you strain yourself. You try to meditate very hard on this topic and try to pull information out of the blade. Once again, your contact with the dark side troubles you, and you gain 2 strain and 1 conflict from trying to understand these dark matters, and you can't really discern anything from it. Meanwhile, Sop looks up from Merkava and says, I don't think there's much I can do for him. He has the Corellian plague.
Corellian plague?
Yeah, it used to be a real problem over there, at least in the books I've been reading. But it's been like hundreds of years since, or at least a 100 years or so since it's been an epidemic. But it still exists, kind of like a cold. But it's very rare and easily treatable by the doctors over there. But I don't have any of the medicines here. And it's not that dangerous or contagious. Only if he sneezes on you. He hasn't sneezed on you, right?
No, he's literally been unconscious all this time. I don't think he sneezed on me.
Good. That's pretty much the only way you can... It's contagious, but it's not too harmful. He's just... Until it's cured, he's going to spend multiple days out just from fatigue. It eats away at your body and your muscles, but it's not deadly. Have you been to Corellia recently? Because this isn't really something you find anywhere else.
Yeah, we were just on Corellia last, actually.
Ah, well, that explains it. Your friend must have come into contact with the plague. I'm not sure why he's letting people sneeze on him.
To be fair, it is Merkava, so I don't know if he's got some weird fetish around sneezing people, but...
Hey, who am I to judge? And she begins to walk out of the tent and says, listen, you're free to use these beds for a little while, but I'm not sure when the next battle's going to be, so it'd be nice to keep them clear. If you're feeling better, then I'll see you around.
See ya. Thank you.
She nods and heads back into the main tent. You're alone with a groggy and still probably unconscious Merkava.
I sort of stare off into the distance, and sort of muttering out the fact that I lost my lightsaber, and B, Kasari. Kasari more than anything else. The fact that I lost a proud one weighs probably quite heavily on Cedric.
How long do you spend kind of thinking about this? Do you let it kind of get dark? Because it's almost dark. It's probably around 6.
Yeah, it's probably getting quite dark for Cedric. The fact that Kasari, he knew Kasari sort of looked up to him in certain respects, so like losing her it's pretty bad for him.
All right, so what's the plan? Again, it's getting quite dark. You gonna rest the night here, or are you planning something else?
Yeah, the plan is to rest the night here.
Okay, do you want to just skip forward to morning then?
Yep.
You can recover all your strain. It was a good night's sleep. You wake up, probably around again. So last night you didn't have the greatest sleep because you were sensing a presence, but tonight, in the early hours of the morning, you feel a disturbance in the Force.
When I feel it, I sort of look around just to make sure there's nothing like directly near me.
There is nothing. There's nothing in the tent aside from you and Merkava, and you feel the disturbance coming from the direction of the forest.
I look at Merkava a second and look at him again and say, "Stay there and don't do anything stupid."
You sure you don't want to buckle down his lightsaber this time?
And then I find some, like, stuff on him to like hold his lightsaber tight to his body.
Okay, do you exit the tent?
Then I'm exiting the tent and trying to go towards the wall, see if I can see the forest.
As soon as you exit the tent, you can see coming from the forest a giant blinding light. And it's growing and growing from what appears to be kind of the eastern/central part of the forest. And it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and then from this light emerges a cacophony of darkness. Darkness flies and emerges. I should probably change the music for this.
Perfect music for the darkness.
Let's see. I'm going to take music from the same game to keep our... to keep our theme similar. Yeah, this is nowhere... Like, this is why the GM should not record. This is...
Yes.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, a cacophony of darkness springs out from the forest and climbs towards the sky and seems to drench the area completely in a cloud of darkness. And it grows and it grows, and you feel horrible. You feel empty looking at this just crucible of dark side power, and it grows to seemingly an apex before beginning to contract and beginning to move back into the circle of light, which itself is beginning to contract and move smaller and smaller and smaller, and suddenly this whole light show that's been going on finally stops, and the forest, for the first time since you've been here on Antar, seems at ease. Empty, perhaps not alive as much as it used to be, but at ease.
I'm gonna go and try and find Sop. And
she's okay. So all of the girls pretty much are outside looking at this with you.
Yeah. Has that ever happened before?
No.
Okay. Well, that was bizarre. Something's definitely different. That forest seems got a presence to it. I think whatever's happened, that thing is... Well, the forest is cured of whatever dark side corruption corrupted it in the first place.
She grips her stomach and looks at the others and says, "Brothers, do you feel that? As Godels, we have a very sensitive network of emotions, and it feels like one of our kin has just died. It's the worst feeling."
That's bizarre.
But I agree. I think the forest is more at ease, but we still feel it. It's hard to avoid.
Can you feel anything else bar the death?
No, it's such a strong emotion. It's hard to sense anything else at a time of grieving. But we don't know who we're grieving. I must convene with my brothers.
Of course.
Yes, it's too early. But in the morning, I'm gonna have to leave it to you, Sasha, and I'm gonna go talk to at least my brother in the west, and if he let me take down that infernal wall, maybe I can talk to the others.
Maybe. And I sort of leave her to her business.
What are you doing?
Cedric sort of stands there for a little bit, trying to think of what it could be, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't come up with anything. So drives back into the tent just to check if Merkava's lightsaber is still there.
Merkava's lightsaber is still there. Do you have a data pad or a comms link on you?
Let me have a look. I have a handheld comm link,
okay,
but
so
no data pad.
Well, you get a notification on the comm link from the commander of the Republic, not the commander, but the local leader of the Republic spaceport that you landed on, and he wants to talk to you.
Yep. So is that sort of basically like a call?
Yeah, pretty much. You can answer it, or
Yeah, I'll answer it.
Hello, Jedi. Is this Cedric Carmine?
Yes, it is.
Hi, it's Dave here. I can't remember what his name was. We're gonna call him Dave. It's Dave here from the hub. We've just got some unusual traffic over the last couple of days, and we thought you might want to know since you're here and seems like Jedi business. A ship landed near the fishing village, Honsho's tribe, in the east recently, and we've just tracked it down. It's in the lake. Again,
in the lake?
We haven't looked at it, but our sensors show that it's either in or on the lake right now.
That seems odd. Did you just see the big light show outside the forest? Well, inside the forest.
Oh. No, I didn't, but all our communication tech is down, so I'm assuming that's the cause.
That seems likely.
We only just got this call back up, and we meant to tell you this early. Actually, our communication tech has been down since about 2 a.m. We meant to talk to you earlier, but we only just got the comms link back up and running.
That seems odd. Well, the Godel seem to be meeting about it tomorrow. But yeah, I'll go head out and see what that ship's doing. Just keep an eye out for any Jedi that seems to be coming your way, because we might have lost one of us in the forest, but don't worry, she'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'll keep you up to date. Have a good one, Mr.
Thank you.
Cedric, sir.
That's all right. You too.
And then the comm link dies.
Yep. Strange. And then I go to Merkava, check he's still got his lightsaber.
Can confirm, still has lightsaber.
Okay, then I'm gonna I think for a second, and I'm gonna wait till morning before
Okay, that's only like half an hour until the sun comes up.
okay. So I'm gonna prepare to take Merkava to because it's a tribe to the east near, right?
Yeah, you're already pretty far east. That all the information you got from the comms guy is that it was to the east, but you know for a fact that you're pretty far east, and so
And there's a lake, and there should be a lake nearby it because it's on top of a lake.
Yeah, that you know there's a lake.
And there's another Godel somewhere.
Okay, I think you probably have enough information now on Antar that I can probably just give you the map. So that's what I'm going to do. I think a reasonably intelligent person such as Cedric would have figured out a rough head map by now. Hopefully, I can find this map a little quicker than last time because I friggin' forgot where it was. RPG, Star Wars. I've got it. Antar map. There you go. Well, ignore the forest parts if you want to avoid spoilers. I just realized you haven't been in the forest, but even
forest
then, you probably figured out most of that.
Yeah. So yeah, heading towards the lake is my aim now.
Okay, so you're reasonably able to do so, and as you approach, it depends on which approach you go for. But either way, really, as you approach a set of tents bordering the lake, you see emerging from the forest direction is a hooded figure headed towards the lake.
Oh God! Is this hooded figure in like black and white?
Yes.
Oh, hello. And I'm still gonna like head towards the lake, but I'm gonna keep him in eye and try and keep him in field of view.
Are you trying to hide from him?
No, I'm not directly trying to hide from him. I'm just sort of making sure I can see him.
After a few more steps, he notices you and stops and looks at you. He gestures you towards him. At this, you get close enough that you realize at this point that he now has 4 lightsabers on his belt.
Seriously, dude? 4 lightsabers? Do you really need that many?
Oh, how much of that did you just hear?
None of that.
Fuck me. I need to keep my hand on the fucking push the talk button. He takes down his hood and you see this large shit-eating grin on his face. And he says, "Hey now, don't you be rude to me. I've got one of your toys." And he takes off of his belt your lightsaber.
Yes, that is very true. My question is, you are clearly collecting them.
I think that's an unfair assessment. One of these is yours, one of these is mine, and the other 2 I took off of a very dangerous individual.
Which very dangerous individual?
Why? The Emperor of the Sith, of course.
The Emperor of the Sith is on Antar. Antar.
Yes, odd, I know. I'm surprised you're surprised. Anyway, my job here is done, and I don't want to be here much longer. And he throws your... Well, actually, no, he doesn't throw it yet. He wiggles your lightsaber and says, "I got a trade for you. A blade for a blade." And he points at what you've got.
I look at the dark blade and pass it over to him.
And he throws your lightsaber on the ground.
Okay. I look at him and go, "So who are you?"
Goodbye, Cedric. Have a good one. And he begins to walk towards the lake again. Oh, your friend. The edge of the forest, near the wall.
I sort of look at him walking away.
I think she was headed towards the hub. And he shrugs and begins heading towards the lake again.
I look at him, look towards where the hub is, and sort of back again, looking really fucking confused, and then walks towards the hub. Yeah, with Merkava over my shoulder.
Okay. You planning to walk all the way towards the hub? All the way into the hub and back to the ship to see if Kasari's on there?
Yes, that's my plan.
Okay, so when you get back on the ship, Kasari has not yet arrived there. She's nowhere to be seen on the ship. However, you have a flashing red light on the ship's comms link.
So I pick up the message on the comms link.
It's not a message. You realize after you look at it that it is an SOS signal through a channel that was set up about 2 years ago. This channel was only accessible by 4 Padawans who graduated during or before the Mandalorian Wars. It was set up as a chat room, basically. But coming through it is a SOS link on the planet of Malastera.
Oh, shit! Oh, no! Oh.
And that's going to do us for this week.
Oh! Oh, Puddy. Oh, Buddy. Buddy.
So there you go. Charles seems to be in a little bit of awe. We are going to end the episode off here, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you all for watching. What are we going to call this? Episode 7.75 of Dunes of Antar. We'll be back either this Wednesday or next Wednesday, or actually Wednesday. We're currently recording on Wednesday. This will go up on Saturday. So it's either going to be up this Wednesday coming or the Wednesday after that is when we're going to be back to normal schedule. But yeah, Charles, why don't you say goodbye?
Well, bye from me and an unconscious Merkava. See you next time.